I want to talk a little further on the 1111 sync up and time codes and what it is a little farther. So this is kind of part two of that last video I did. So the time codes are. Let's start at the beginning. In the beginning of all of creation was the mind, and all it did was create. And after that, inside of that creation came some of the hermetic principles, rhythm and polarity, and all of these ideas of Tesla, what Tesla talks about. If you understand rhythms and cycles, and those things came. That was after the beginning of creating whatever it was that the larger mind wanted to do. It took form out of those organic, rhythmic cycles of breathing, of how long it takes to plant a seed till it comes to fruition, and how big animals get. These organic systems were in place, and that's down the line on creation, and it's part of those rhythms and those natural cycles. And then we can get into the original calendars. Then calendars came, and then it became making an inorganic cycle, and that those inorganic cycles started to connect to capitalist systems and other types of. These are more creations nonetheless, but they're farther down the line into what is springs up as more of a inorganic or unnatural isn't the right word either, because everything is atomic, but it's these ideas of landscapes of the mind and what controls them. And so we got to calendars, and then the next down the line was a clock, and that clock was connected to the delivery of goods and services through the use of trains. So we can see this train track that's actually built in the mind, that is connected to the bell, the opening bell of the stock market, to the school system, and the bell that goes off there in between classes. And this is the span of time that exists, but time doesn't exist in the universal mind. It can't. It doesn't. The atom is the atom. That's all there is to it. And out of that atomic system, which was connected, it was part and parcel of the mind. It created all things. And then what we speak of as what is required. So in the mind, like right now, what is required of you? Nothing. But then you start to put time on things, time limits, and this is when it needs to occur. And we have a deadline. There you go. So that connection to these clocks, because clocks are not natural. There's nothing natural about them. They're creations of a very low level system. It's so far beneath in the subsystem that it controls minds. And so what these codes are, time codes and like angelic numbers, and you notice this and you notice that. What it does is it says, hey, just pay attention, you're alive, is what it does. Even though you're in the inorganic system. You're in the organic system. That's true. You can't. You're part of the organic system no matter where you are. But people are so lost and blind to it because they're on the clock, and then all of a sudden they know, somebody tells them about the 1111. Somebody tells them about angelic numbers, and all of a sudden now they make notice of things, and that making notice of things makes their consciousness start to become more aware that they're living. You're alive right now. Hey, you're punching away on that computer, doing that thing, and there's very little awareness. It's literally zombie land. It's The Walking Dead. But then these time codes, what they do is, even though they're part of the sub level creation of a figment of the imagination, meaning that time could ever exist the way that is constructed, not that it's even constructed, the way it's delivered as these numbers, because numbers don't exist. Numbers don't exist in the real world. They can't. They go walk around. And this even gets a little farther. So what it's doing is it's telling you, it's waking you up. It's like an alarm clock in a certain sense. and just makes you more aware of things. And that's the purpose. That's the, hey, well, you're alive. You're breathe. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's oxygen or whatever that is. Neo, is that even a thing? But you're there. Look at that. There's your chair. There's the computer. There's the clock right there. Yeah. Okay. Then okay. What's that? Okay. There's the dog, and that. Okay. And then you see this whole experience start to unfold, and it's using the system that was designed to encapsulate the mind, and is actually, as I've harped on recently about this notion of the poison and the panacea being linked together. Well, the system will break itself. It has to. It's not sustainable. You can't plant a seed with a clock. You can't tell a seed, hey, I'm going to need that orange. I'm going to need that in 3 months. You can't make it do anything. Anything with the seed that's living, you can't make it do anything. It's right there. There it is. There's the tree. It takes that long to grow. That long. I don't know how long that is. You might say it's 12 months or this many seconds, but that doesn't really exist. It just does it at its own pace, in its own rhythm, in its own cycle. And so those are the things that exist out of the one universal source code mind. And a little farther deeper understanding of, even that, people talk to me often about trying to understand this duality, or even the hermetic principles of opposites and gender, and those don't exist. You can prove it. Go look at a tree. What is the opposite to a tree? What opposes a tree? Nothing. What is the opposite of a duck? Nothing. Even what's the opposite of a brick? What's the opposite of a house? There's nothing opposing anywhere. Even in the inorganic world, there is no opposing. There's no opposition to anything. So it's one universal mind that creates all things. That's a very deep meditation to get into, and I'll explore that another time with y'all. But certainly, that's the goal, is to get back to that place of infinite creation from your one universal source code mind, and that's connecting with yourself. And you can do that. This gets into yoga. I'll do a video on yoga soon and tell you about what that is, and just connection to self, to the mind, and yoking yourself. It's not going to those classes. That can be something you do, but there are so many parts to yoga, so many avenues for you to, reclaim your brain, your mind, your body, or whatever it is that you think you need to acquire to have access to that. So that's what yoga is. We'll get into that another time too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll chat soon.